How you guys doing? It's Andrew at FloryPB, and this is a video I never thought I would do. This is a PM5, a PM5 that I use to make my PM5 boards. Why did I get a PM5? I was making boards for die markers, and I got this super cheap. When I was taking it apart to measure the board out, the battery slash microswitch harness ripped in half. Completely ripped in half. So it's kind of hooped the way it is. I was thinking about just writing it off. They didn't have eyes at the time either, but I did get a set of eyes to do my... I'm regretting this already. Oh my god. I got a set of eyes to make sure my DM6 boards worked. And I'm sitting here with this lump of a PM5. And the more I look at it, the more I'm like, you know, someone cared about this thing at one point. They put a nice trigger on it. They put a nice feed neck on it. You know, this is something I can relate to because this was a marker that came out when I was like 16 around. And it's one of those markers that kids like me got back in the day. I didn't have one. I had a DM3, an MYX DM3 at that point in time, but it was something I could have hypothetically grabbed, accessible to me. So I figured, why not just run through it real quick? It seems like everything's here, so I'll give it a quick rebuild, toss one of my boards in it, and put it back up for sale in case anyone actually wants it. So my first marker build video in a very, very, very long time is going to be a PM5. I have no idea what Allen keys I really need to use for anything. I've never actually taken a PM5 apart. It uses old school die eyes. I'm going to have to redo the electronics. Let's take the grips off fully at this point. Or sorry, I use the old school die detents. Or matrix style detents. News to me. But this wasn't super beat up. Nothing looks crazy. The screws are coming out nice. For the most part. I think someone grabbed the Proto bottom line. Yeah, I guess that makes sense. It's so thin. Do it that way. Someone grabbed the Proto bottom line, put this heinous NYX duckbill on it. Not NYX, this is a System X duckbill in 90s Bro Chrome. I don't have to take the trigger off, but with a frame I mean. But let's take a gander at the solenoid. Maybe we can lube it. Small one. Big one in the front, small one in the back. Got to repair the micro switch. Trigger's in good shape. Think it's a CP, probably, trigger. That's a classic die, old school DM3 solenoid, DM4 as well. It's an SMC noid, so it's basically a an Angel LCD solenoid. disturbing. I could use a little lube. A little greasy in there. Let's pop the bolt out. I mean, the bolt's identical to a DM system or any matrix, you know, minus the M3, which isn't exactly a matrix. There we go, fuse bolt, baby. Everything looks original and stock. Actually, yeah, that's a good shape. It's nice and lubed. Let's pull out the LPR assembly. So regs are probably the thing that need the most service. And grab a wrench. There, so it's pretty good. I think that one holds it in place. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's right. That's just the cover. Now, how can I get you out of there? There we go. Just grit and bear it. Alright. Just an LPR assembly. Yeah. Chunky for a lot of metal they moved on this to make this budget marker from back in the day. You grab a microfiber. I don't have to take these detents out. They're still there, still doing their job. Of all the rubber style detents, I do think the Matrix ones were probably one of the best. They just last. Yeah, they're near perfect. Nothing's that bad. It's really clean. Get rid of some of this old lube. There's some crevices that the lube's going to stay in probably because it doesn't really need to go out. This is just a plug. That's in pretty good shape. Okay, I'm gonna do some counts here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 4.5-ish. Let's see, it don't look incredible. Nice. Try to cut this old grease. It's still probably pretty good grease. It's just a Dow 33. I bet this thing would function just fine without me taking it apart. There's an O-ring in there, which I'm definitely not gonna probably get. Let's see. Is that easy to hook? No, that is a true pain. I do not envy anyone trying to get to that O-ring. I don't like it in there, though. Let's see. Look at that. So I'm glad I took it apart. I'm glad I cut into it. Because that's a poly ring and it just fell apart. Because that's what they do after sitting for so long. Don't know what size that is, but we will figure that out as we go. It's so nicely machined for what it is. Just the machining on stuff of this era of dye, I love it. They did wonderful things. Yep. Just do that. Oh. I'm missing an important O-ring in here. Well. Oh, another one too. We gave up on internal O-rings, somebody, with this marker. Alright. We got the back one. We don't got the front. This thing just leaked. I do have dye seats, which is nice, but just gotta get these out of here. Jeez. But this is a seat that's so thick, I can just turn it over. And we'll use the fresh end. Okay. Are you going to break apart? I need to use force. Nope. So guys, I just put it in the vise wrapped up with aluminum soft jaws. I'll do the top too. top might not be willing to come out right now. Ooh. Yikes. What the hell is that O-ring for? These two are still here. There was another O-ring just sitting in there. Wow. Okay. That's worn through as well. Ooh, this thing got used a lot, which is cool. At least someone was using it. The only problem can't get the top off. Oh, I think I got it. Jeez. Damn. So, it's very dangerous to clamp it this way. I had to do it this way. I made sure I got it where the actual stainless steel piston is, or else you're going to make it a nice egg. Forgot they ran them this way too. I'm gonna have to double check the configuration, because I feel like it's not supposed to be like that. Maybe it is. I just love their finish they got on their stainless parts back then. I mean, these shouldn't really be stainless steel, but a little heavy. But it sure does look nice. Okay, now this O-ring is going to be shot too, probably. Yep. Just ripping right through it. I see it in the light. Yep, that looks pretty cleaned out. Alright. So, got the entire thing apart, minus the solenoid, which we will take apart as well, but let's put the marker together before we take the solenoid apart. Guess let me start rebuilding. Some of these. Get the regs done. Get the bolt back together. Sorry. I'm sorry it's taking so long to get the these new boards out. I was crazy busy at work, and then my kid got sick, and then I got sick. So it really put a damper on my work and, you know, my extracurriculars here. So I'm trying to get back up to speed. I have the other videos done at this point. Let me start pulling out some O-rings. I don't exactly know what size they're in. I think these are like 8s, 9s. Let me pull some 12s. These are 50 durometer. 012s are too small, so like maybe 014s. I think it's a 13. I think it's a 13. She's not super common angel sizes, so like, yep, it's 13. I only have X rings. These don't need X rings, not here. It'd be nice if I had a 50 durometer O-ring for this, because it's just a sealing surface. But they'll work. Just a little expensive for a static seal. And finicky. Let me get some lube out. Lube that up. Feels a world different there. That's all that does. This seal. Let's spin this over if I can. We're just going to flip it over. We'll use the other side. Thick boy. But let me find that O-ring. So this is an 010. I do have 50 durometer O-rings. I like using 50 durometer O-rings for static seals. And these are static seals, basically. They don't really move. It's just softer. Seals up a little better. Much easier to put on. Gonna put that up. Clean off the old lube. My workbench has turned more into a soldering station than a workbench, so like everything's kind of closing in on me here. So we got our spring stack and our main piston. I shouldn't have closed that. I still got to do the O-ring that I blew out. I could have left that on. Leave that part on. I need to find an O-ring that fits this shaft. Little trick to keep those together. I was just giving them credit for the quality of their stainless work, but it kind of feels like shit. I don't have my polishing with me, or else I'd polish that. Let me try to get an X-ring. One second, let me try to find something that fits there. I think something an 08 or an 07 quad ring. It's going to be around where this is. 08's too big. '07 seems about right. And 007, I mean. It's going to be a tricky install. Even trickier because it's a quad ring. Probably gonna just jumping ahead in the video here because alright. I'm going to abandon the quad ring because it's too hard to get in there without it trying to roll on me. And that won't be effective. So we're going to abandon the quad ring. Those aren't even quad rings, they're real. We're going to go with a 50 durometer traditional 007 O-ring. The lower diameter also helps with the static friction, or the, not dynamic, I guess static's the right word. That's a little late, guys. Forgive me if I'm steering you wrong with my engineering speak. I think that's in. Nope, not fully. Okay, that's seated. Tight and seated. Gotta be nice on that edge, don't hit that too hard. Also gotta change out this top ring because I'm lubing it up. It's a big boy. 17, 19, something like that. I think that's about right. Might be too big. That's about right. I don't have quad rings this big, so unfortunately I go to regular, traditional 70 durometer Buna O-ring. Let's clean those guys up. Put a little oil on them. You can lube this up sort of heavy. This is your high pressure stuff. Find the hole. Not too worried about that seal. It's a huge static seal, and it looks like it's in perfect shape. It's Buna, so it doesn't wear out like the poly ones do. replace this. This is traditional 015. I'm going to put on a 50 durometer one. Ooh. I chopped a ring. Which one did I chowder? Chowder the bottom one. A little more gentle doing this. All right. Glad I double checked that. Hyper 3 serviced. Put that off to the side. Let's service the low pressure regulator. Same O-ring. It's the, losing my chain of thought here, the 010. On that, 50 durometer. This seal is probably similar. Let me try the 007. It might be an 006, but I bet it's an 006. Let me grab those. It's a 50 durometer 006. That feels pretty good. Color-wise, this one's a little bit easier because it's the shiny in there. I think that looks good. Yep. That feels nice. I can probably get a higher performance O-ring on you. 013, 014. piling rings out here. Sorry. When you're working with quad rings, you just got to make sure that they don't twist over, or else they're not going to seal. Still some crap in there. Clean it. Alright, so that's probably about as good as the performance of the LPR is going to be. Now, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to switch these out with 50 durometer 015s because they just make it easier. There's definitely some performance to gain here. These are sharp. I'm not trying to do a ridiculous performance build here. Make sure we have this pointed down to interlock with that screw. Put that screw in first. All right. Okay, LPR's back in. Let's see, what are you? Maybe a 14. Softer I want to do. The reason I'm replacing this one is it's super hard feeling. I got one that's a little softer. And this is a seal where you just want it to be as soft as you can. Not a 50 durometer, it's not a performance kind of thing. But it's going to help sealing if it's softer. Yeah, you, I guess, don't have anything. It relies on that one seal. there, and making sure this is lined up. Okay, front of the marker is assembled. Let's work on the bolt. We'll round ourselves back in. What the fuck is in there? All right. So that's like a 13. I'll try to put a quad ring in, because this is where they will help. Just clean this up a little bit. Okay. Got the quad ring installed there. I'll do another one in the front. I think that might be like a 15. Nope. It's gonna be like a 16 or 17. Let me get some more. I don't actually have 16s. Apparently I need one though. Just a regular O-ring. Just too big. Damn. Not super set up to serve as die guns, obviously. Maybe it is a 17. That is unhappy. Let's try 17. Okay, well. Oh, yeah. Happy with that. We got the 17 in there. I guess you're 17 as well. Clean that out. And all of those. And get one in there too. So we got quad rings on all the internal grooves, which is great. Let me try to get quad rings on the sail. Are you an 08 or are you bigger? It's bigger. Is it a 10? It's a 9. So some guys use 50 durometer O-rings on the sails of these. There's some of the newer stuff too. I always had more luck with longevity with the quad rings. They're a little more expensive, but they're nice to haves. The idea of the quad ring is a double lip seal, and it's a better dynamic seal. It takes less friction than a traditional O-ring. But you got to get them to lay in there correctly. If you don't, you're just defeating the purpose of it. And the smaller ones are a pain. This one I'm just not happy with. I'll try another one. Okay. So I'm happy with those. This is a bumper. I think it's a 17. It looks like it could be a 15. I'm going to put a 50 durometer on the bumper. The rear's a fat one, but see what I got for the fatter ring. 112. I don't really have anything. It's a bumper. It's still squishy. So I'm just going to put it back. We're going to replace the actual sealing O-ring, which is this one, which, let's hope it's 17. That's the 16. I think it's an 016. I do have a quad ring for that. So that's in good shape. Nice. Nice. That all feels pretty good. These are kind of big. I don't really have anything for these. And they're in good shape, so let's get some lube on it. Very light lube. Just want to get a little sheen in the O-ring groove. We're going to come through and make matrix muck. Put a little oil on it. Feels nice. I might need a 90 on this lip because it's gonna kind of get beat up. So I'm gonna get a 90 diameter O-ring for that. These are some harder rings because that lip can get beat on pretty well. Okay. Put a little too much on and take it off. I want to get that ring nice and coated in there. Nice. Okay. Cool. Just clean up this back section. And we're not doing anything crazy here because I'm not trying to do like any particular mods to this or anything. I don't like how one thing's fitting. I think it's this ring. I think it's the 09. Let me get rid of the quad ring real quick and put on a 60 durometer Viton ring. Let's see if that smooths out the action a little bit. I like the rest of the action. It's nice and snappy, but yeah, it feels a lot nicer. Oh yeah. So whatever it was, I didn't like that quad ring and that one O-ring groove. That groove might have been maybe a little out of spec for the quad ring. I'm not saying out of spec for the product, but the ring itself might have been a lot out of spec. But it definitely likes the 60 durometer Viton. Yeah, it's nice. All right, bolt system is a go. Freshly built with, I guess, more premium seals. Maybe I should get some hose and do a top hat mod too. I think I have some garden hose laying around. Wonder if you crack it off a little bit. Yeah, we're just gonna seat it home, but not hard at all. Okay. Let's toss these back in. Let me get my eyes. I don't know if these are the right eyes. I'm assuming they are, but I don't actually know. How do you guys do stuff? Because we are good mechanically now. Okay. Let's see. I don't know if these are the right eyes for this. They're definitely proto eyes. I just don't know what proto they're for. Unless they come down the side. That's what they're supposed to do. Alright. Well. Let me try to be gentle. Alright guys, let's back up a second here. Back from the future, we'll say. I said these eyes don't feel right, they don't look right, they might not fit, because they're not the right eyes. These are the right eyes for a PM5, PM6. First time ever working on PM5. You know, I definitely messed that one up. So let's put in the correct set of eyes, and then I will mix together the rest of the video I did with the new stuff here. So I think these might be for a PMR or something. I don't know. They're the right pinout. They're just not the right shape. And that's why it's so much trouble squeezing these things in here when it shouldn't have been that brutal. Yeah, it has a lot more play. So I'm going to put the eyes in. Still a pain. Not nearly as painful. One. Send the second one through. Yeah, these fit significantly better. There's no drama here. There's no thinking I'm about to rip the ribbon cable. Yeah, that fits significantly better. So put our plastic cover back on. Make sure we're in our hole on both sides. Alright, so the solenoid, I will cut to me redoing the solenoid or just relubing it, taking it apart. And then we will put the solenoid back in. 3, 2, 1. Solenoid's in. Alright, so we just got to make sure our ribbon eye is out of the way. So we'll go straight up with it for right now. Put our solenoid in. I'm going to try to feel where it should go. Okay. You don't want to crank these down, but I only have a flat blade there, so. Alright, this is free and off to the side. That's where that has to go. I will cut to the video of me remaking this harness. Okay. So, I need to rebuild this harness. I'm going to clean up my my lubing mess and my O-rings and everything, and then we'll rebuild this harness, and this marker should be golden. I'll be right back. Alright guys, so I am back. Here's what we did. I have built a new set of pigtails to replace this. I twisted all my wire pairs just because. I crimped them in and put them on a new 4-pin connector. I did that off camera because I've done this before on camera, and it's boring. It's very boring. So we're going to just solder these to a new. I don't need to use a new micro switch, but I'm going to. This is an Omron D2L or D2FL. I have a lot of Omron D2FLs, so I'm just going to use a brand new one and not try to resolder these connections. I just took it for length that I need it. And like, these don't have to be twisted pairs. They weren't twisted pairs to start. There's no reason to do it other than maybe some minor strain relief for the wire. But I can, so why not? I don't even have my soldering rig. That's kind of stuck over there. But we'll just solder these up real quick. A little solder on those. So they clip this bottom one short, and then these two are going to get clipped just like that. So the center is your ground, or it's going to ground. It's going to close the circuit. It's going to go to ground. And should probably use my helping hand, but we can do it. Okay. The original didn't have heat shrink on it, but there's no reason why it can't. So we're going to put a little heat shrink tubing on it. Doesn't need it. This doesn't have to be any kind of watertight or anything like that, this connection. But it looks kind of professional, a little more professional. I'll twist the pairs up. And I think that looks kind of good for this harness versus the original one that was there. This is my new board. I'm going to reinstall this again after I install this in order to do the videos I need to do. Well, that's my first hiccup. They are smaller holes in the newer style switch than the older. But I run into this problem from time to time doing the other boards. And now there are bigger holes. Look at that. Get you out of the way. Let me flick you up. I need the screwdriver again. like that. I like a little more behind it than this has. But I can adjust that as I go. 3, 2, 1. We're back into the present. So, take our frame. Get that back on. I have no idea why the eye wire is so long in this one. This does say PM5, PM6, so. All right. So we're going to be at the point where we mount our board. And then we can get a lot of time has passed since I began rebuilding this PM5. I had some changes, some things changed. I learned some stuff, obviously, especially about that PMR eyes are different than PM5 eyes. And I made a revision to my board that I was making in this. So we're up to the step where we're going to install the circuit board. If you're installing the circuit board, it comes with the board and the manual in the pack. The install is very simple. You take the old board out. Let's get our screwdriver. We have the 4-pin connector is for our 9-volt and our micro switch. This 2-pin connector on its side is for the solenoid. This 3-pin connector here, this is for DMIs, regular DMIs. Now we have, here I have a 3-pin or a 3-wire flat ribbon connector. The flat ribbon connector 3-wire. On the end, this is for PM5, PM6 eyes. This one is a 4-wire eye, which is for PMRs, PM7s, stuff like that, whichever eyes you have. So we're going to take this. Slide that in there like that. I just want to check to make sure everything's working before I commit to putting the board in. So eyes are working. Everything's looking good. I'm going to keep the eye ribbon on. I'm going to lose these two. I'll just kick these up like this. Let's put this thing roughly in place. Put the 2 screws back in. I want to make sure the buttons feel okay, so I'm going to loosen these up.
why are you not feeling right? All about getting that button feel right in this board. Those feel good. So I'm going to make sure my eye ribbon can tuck in. We'll put our 4-pin in. We'll get our 2-pin in. We can tuck all those wires in like that. Click that in like that. And we're good to go on the board installation. Okay, now we have the board installed. Let me find what I did with the grips and the screws for the grips. I will be right back, guys. Alright guys, I grabbed a couple parts that I needed, namely a bottom line of some kind. Already comes with a fitting on it, which is nice. I need a couple new screws for that bottom line and the grips. We'll do the grips first. Not that there's anything crazy about putting a set of grips on, but we are wrapping up this marker. All right. I don't like how long the solenoid wire is, but I'm not going to modify that. I love how that one's in there. Let me get this one in first. All right. feels good. I have no idea why it came in a J&J barrel, but that's cool. Let's get a little tape on this fitting. So I just want to do tape in the direction that you're tightening. Clockwise, I guess is the way to call it, righty. Because you don't want it to unravel as you're trying to thread it in. If you did it backwards, it would unravel as you're threading it in. It's just a 7/16 wrench. Too tight, because then I'm gonna actually hit the. Okay. And I grabbed this one because it is red. It matches the trigger. Alright. What's wrong with these heads? Maybe it's me. My set of Allens there, but whatever. Second set to the rescue. All right. And the last piece we need is a piece of macro line. Okay. I just like to get a little bit of oil on the rings. the O-ring in the fitting, I mean, by a little bit of oil on the rings. Let's make sure that seats right. Make sure that seats right. And I'll turn that. Don't look too bad. But I think we can lose a little bit. I'll just make that a little tighter. It's not bad. All right. Well, let me see if I have any air. So turn that out a little bit. Got a touch of air left in this tank. Turn the marker on. I don't think I have enough air to make it pop. Trying. Bolt doesn't even want to move. So slight leak. Now there's a chance that the manifold is in the wrong spot, but I think I'm okay. Let me just pull the bolt out real quick. Something jammed in the bolt. There we go. I think that's all it was. Okay, let's see if it will come back a little bit. Some ring wasn't happy because it was super stuck and then it was leaking. So something I put in here was unhappy. My thought process is something in this can. Yeah, those seem crazy. Let's see. I feel like both those are sealed. All right, let's replace a couple O-rings here. Something feels wrong. I think it's this center O-ring that doesn't feel right. We'll grab another one. Let me try that O-ring. That is a Viton ring. It's a 60 durometer, so it's softer, which also helps with the dynamic push, or dynamic break of the friction. Where my grease got. Put some oil on that first. There's my grease. That feels nicer. I might have to replace this ring if it's going to leak again. So actually remember, I have something better for this. This thing is 014, and is that right? No, it's bigger than that. I don't know if it's a 16 or a 17. I had a 17 on it. Let's try 16. See if that fits better. Nah, that's not good. It's definitely a 17. Just not happy with this one. Let's try this one. Yeah, that one fits much nicer. I just picked bad ring fitment the first time. That one's feeling much cleaner. Okay. All right. Here's hoping. Still got a seal leak. So I'm probably more familiar with dyes. It's like, you idiot! I know exactly what that is, but I do not. Let's see. It's got to be coming through the dump chamber, which means it's got to be the stroke is fine, so it's probably this back ring. Doesn't look bad, but let me grab. I do have. Nah, that's too big. That's for a newer die. This one's right. Feels like it could be alright. Let's try no 12. I don't know. It fits, but I feel like it's too loose, and I feel like it's gonna blow out, but we'll see. I could just look at the manual, but I'd rather go on this adventure of discovery. Bolt sliding smooth now. There it goes. Got a slight hiss coming from right here, which I can deal with. And shooting a little low, but we have a fully rebuilt PM5. The gun everyone is clamoring for, I guarantee you. me just wipe my lube off. Alright guys, there it is in all its glory. Move that out of the frame. PM5 rebuilt. I will do a shooting video on it as well. Before I put it up for sale, I need to make the board manual for the board. Currently I have 4 more boards for these. They're going to be for sale. Probably before this is listed, but this will go up to auction, and I'll release the video. I'll put it up for auction, and yeah, I'll see. It's going to be a 0 reserve. I don't exactly care what I sell it for. I just hope someone thinks it's cool and someone wants to bid on it. This is Andrew at FloryPB, and that's it for the PM5 restoration video. It took a lot longer than I thought it was going to take, and I've learned things about PM5s that I never knew, because this is the first one I've ever owned, technically. So, alright guys, again, Andrew at FloryPB, thank you.